So, hi everyone. Thank you for attending this webinar. We are very happy to be here with you and proud to show you our new version of our product for SAP BI, the G17 release. So today we are three on this side. So there is myself, Olivia, and there is also Philip.
Hello.
He's shaking his hands. And also Vincent, our product expert.
Hello.
So, sorry, I'm just trying to move my slide here. So I have to display this thing. I guess that you will have the time to read it, and it's okay. So today, here is our agenda for our webinar. So we'll start with a really short introduction on Galigeo, and then I will present you some of the new features of this release. We will also have a little welcome of our newest customers, and then product demonstration. Philip will handle a demonstration for Web Intelligence, to say Galigeo for Web Intelligence, and also Galigeo for Lumira. I will have a few words on Galigeo for Design Studio also. And to finish with, we will have a question and answer session. So Galigeo is a company that provides location intelligence since 2001, that is over 15 years. We've been also SAP partners since 2013. We provide, of course, SAP certified solutions. And today we have more than 200 customers all over the world. Our headquarters are in Paris, in France, but we also have offices in some strategic locations all over the world. And we also rely on a really, really important network of partners in the world in order to be really close to all of our customers. So our SAP BI product portfolio is made of 3 product extensions today. We have one product extension for Web Intelligence, Business Objects, also for Lumira and for Design Studio. We have reached over 45,000 of users, so we are really happy to share also this number with you. So let's step in our main topic today. So our G17 today provides really, really new features that will help your users to step into the location intelligence capabilities. So I like this quote that has been made by someone from SAP. He said that each time we give you customers, irresistible location-based analytics, and each time we drive our BI system with high-class visualizations using Galigeo. So the main changes in this new version concern the adoption of the self-service and mapping automation to provide end users more freedom to see the information they need. So everything has been designed so that non-geospatial users can easily do some advanced geomapping analysis without needing to be an expert. So this is really important here. We always try to simplify all the processes. So most of these new features rely on 3 aspects: the simplicity, the self-service, and the automation. So we will review together now some of them one by one with some slides that I prepared, but do not worry, you will see all of these new features also during the demo. So to start with, so we have the smart mapping. You can see here on the screen that directly from the map, a user can access a data panel here that can be used to quickly visualize an indicator on the map. So you simply drag and drop an indicator that is here on the left panel, as you can see, and you can select what kind of thematic mapping you want to use, and you will directly display it on the map. The next one is the personal data import. So this is a really, really fantastic feature that allows users to import directly their own flat files, such as CSV, Excel spreadsheets, to map the document and visualize the data in a minute. So all this data can be managed also through the new panel that has been added to the interface. The auto mapping feature can automatically detect the best way to visualize the imported file on a map. Once you have imported this data and saved with the documents, the authors can make it public so that everyone can see it, so they can share it, or they can also make it only visible to the same users so that it won't interfere with the others. The next feature here are the flowcharts. So I think that this screenshot below speaks for itself. So with the flowcharts, you will display the connections, the volumes, the traffic, etc. between various locations. This is one of the features that have been asked for by many of our users. This is the ability to display labels today. So you can have directly on a map the name of your store, of a specific location, but also, for example, the exact amount of the indicator here. Another new feature is the third-party data integration. So you can instantly add third-party data as a layer on your map just by inputting the URL of the service. You can, for example, add some kind of weather data, environmental data, or competition in order to calculate your market share, demographics, etc. Sorry, always a problem just to get to the next slide. We have also another feature that makes the application really easier to use. The user documentation is now embedded, and you will see some new question marks on every panel bringing a contextual help. So this is really useful as any kind of end user as he is here on the map, just making some new geovisualization, and he will have the direct access to the documentation and some tutorials directly into the product. So all of these new features were about SAP Web Intelligence, and now we'll step into SAP Lumira. So for Galigeo, for Lumira, we have here the conditional formatting, meaning that you will be able to change and customize your visualizations. Many of you are using Lumira, so you know that we are really in a self-service way. So the first step of our releases for Galigeo for Lumira were to have something really simple, predefined visualization. We still have this, of course. You drag and drop your indicators, and you will get directly some displayed on a map. But now you also have the ability to change it and to customize it by changing the colors and the class ranges. Another new feature that is also available in the other products, in Webby and in Design Studio, but I have put here SAP Lumira as it was not before available for SAP Lumira, so this is new for this product. So you will have the motion maps. So you can use the temporal information if you have it, of course, and you can explore your data through time series. You can see here on the screenshot, you have a progress bar just at the bottom of the map, and you can play it like a little movie. You will see, of course, this during the demonstration also. We do also support hierarchies. We used to have hierarchies before. I would say automatic hierarchies. But now we do also support Lumira native hierarchies. So that was also one improvement that had been had by one of our customers. Not to name it, he was in Poland. Last but not least, we do also provide pie charts. So the pie charts are the best way to represent your data if you want to illustrate how individual parts contribute to an overall whole set of data. So you can see here, of course, also on the screenshot, these pie charts, and you will see it also during the demonstration. So as I said at the beginning, we will not have a demonstration of Galigeo for Design Studio, as all the improvements that will be showcased in Web Intelligence and Lumira are also available in Design Studio. And of course, we do not have the time to show you all of our products during this really, really short webinar that we have together. But if you need more specific information about Design Studio, of course, do not hesitate to just contact us after, and we can, of course, organize some individual presentation of this product specifically. We have worldwide customers. You are here, people from all over Europe, USA, Asia, etc. We do provide expertise on various verticals. We have use cases in the retail, in the public sector, in the utilities. To give you some examples, here are our very, very new customers. So we have one in the public sector, that is Mairie de Paris, the French one. We also have Lasy Państwowe in Poland, that is about the forest management. The Blind Veterans in United Kingdom. Wassel, that is real estate in Dubai. Also SBB, that is handling the railroads in Switzerland. And also SAP Power Networks in Australia. So it's time to see the product, I guess, right now. So I will give the hand to my colleague, Philip. Just give me a minute. Make presenter, yes. So Philip, you should be able to showcase your screen right now. Great.
Thank you, Olivia, and thank you everyone for joining us as well too. I did want to make sure everyone is aware you can ask questions throughout this presentation. I know there were a couple questions that were already asked, but by all means, feel free to drop some questions in the chat area, and Olivia and Vincent will be happy to take them as we go. We wanted to highlight some of the features that Olivia was able to go through in this new release, both within Web Intelligence as well as in Lumira for this product portion of this webinar. We decided to kick things off with Web Intelligence. Hopefully some of you are able to recognize this area. Basically, users are able to access the SAP BI platform. They're able to come in and see their different types of documents. I'm going to be focusing on a demonstration that ultimately speaks to pretty much crime data. Well, if we can get connection here 1 second. Sorry about that. So users are going to come in. They're ultimately going to be able to pull up some of the recently viewed reports that they may have been looking at. And ultimately, the nice part about our extensions is we're never going to leave the SAP BI environment. So we're going to let users not only create reports, but also consume these outputs from some of the traditional SAP BI environments that they already have access to today. You can obviously have a map cascading with different types of data tables and visualizations. For the demo purpose, I'm going to pretty much display the map on its own as a standalone output and showcase some of the features that Olivia just walked us through. So user, of course, first and foremost, is going to be presented with a map. He's going to be presented with different types of functionality that they may be accustomed to, just due to the nature of the output itself. There are going to be a few different areas where they can get started with. And I guess the easiest is going to be the legend here on the right. They're going to be able to pretty much come in, filter different types of information from the legend itself, but can enhance the data or the managed environment that they have as a starting point by exposing the different layers that that power user may have defined for the users to be able to consume. They can come in, they can start switching on and off these additional visualizations and see the data update in real time on the map itself. So one of the big areas of this release, first and foremost, was to make it a little bit easier for users to understand what it is that they're looking at and how to get started with the application itself. So content-sensitive help has been added in the different areas or in the different pieces to these outputs and is really there to help guide users on how to best use these outputs and how to enhance them with their own information as well. You can see as I scroll around, there's going to be different areas where we included some of this content-sensitive help. I won't go through all of them for demo purposes, but by all means, we do have trials. We do have different ways for you to get more comfortable with understanding what's available today. Users have different options, from being able to use different selection tools, to customizing different base maps, to printing, to including different types of motion maps or time sliders in these applications. One of the biggest areas in this release, obviously, as Olivia mentioned, is going to be around data and how users can start enhancing this starting point that let's say, an SAP BI Power user may have served up to that broader user community itself. Obviously, you can come and see there's going to be different options. We do have existing source of information that could be coming from more traditional SAP BI backends, but users can now augment if they don't necessarily have privileges, if they don't want to wait necessarily to go back to one of the individuals that may have permission to tweak or to change a report. They're going to have the ability to come in and start incorporating and linking additional types of data sets to these outputs. So in this specific example, we can come in and we can see that I have two different spreadsheets here that I want to bring into the actual application. If I start with the first spreadsheet, it's as simple as double-clicking and uploading that spreadsheet to the actual report itself. Users, very similar to an experience to what you're going to have in Lumira. And I don't know if all of you are familiar with Lumira, but we'll be walking you guys through some of these examples afterwards. Have the ability to come in, to see the data itself, and to also make changes on the fly to these actual columns within the spreadsheet itself. They can do different types of aggregations and calculations on these columns. They can pretty much get the data to a state that makes sense for them to then consume in the actual output itself. Once they've done everything that they want to do, they save and close. We can see the different fields that were added within this specific layer. All you have to do as a user is come in, drag and drop, and you're going to see different types of selections of how to represent specific information based on the type of information that you want to represent. And that is now going to become a new layer of information that users can consume directly on the map itself. We can now see that these new incidents, these new codes are available in the map itself, and all the information that's coming from that backend environment can be seen on the map, can be answered directly or viewed directly on the output itself. What else can we do with the information, though? Olivia mentioned the notion of smart mapping and being able to ultimately have different types of ways to consume and to augment what you've already set up in a backend environment. So you can link these different types of data sets to existing GIS data that you may have already incorporated within a backend environment. The nice part about the solution is, in this case, it's able to detect based on the category, the location information that you've already associated to this map, the new data set, the longitudes, the latitudes that are going to correspond to the different sectors in the specific report that were defined in the location area of the Web Intelligence extension. When there's a match, you obviously can see that. When there isn't a match, it's going to let you pretty much map those fields and link these two types of data sources more effectively as well too. And you can ultimately have a wizard to take you through that process. I'm not going to do that for demo purposes, but obviously you're going to have different types of ways that you can do this. In this case here, I'm also going to walk you guys through another example of how you can add additional information and showcase a different type of example for this project as well. In this case here, we can browse again. We can bring in a different spreadsheet. You're going to have the ability to bring in as many spreadsheets as you want into one specific application and have that pretty much cascading throughout the actual layers in the output itself. So there's a few other areas that ultimately I did want to showcase in this demo. Obviously, there's going to be some of the new features from a visualization perspective. Olivia mentioned things like being able to see different flows and being able to see, let's say, for a transportation use case, where you go from point A to point B. There's other, though, little types of functionality that we added that were big user requests for our demonstrations and for different types of use cases. Things like being able to see labels and being able to see that cascading with other types of information on the map itself was actually something that was asked for a lot of customers. And you can see that underneath each layer, there's now a label icon. That's as simple as just clicking on the label icon, and it's going to be able to associate everything that you had on the map to that specific label as well too. You can have different types of outputs. Obviously, if you have a lot of different types of labels, there's going to be different ways for you to show this. But you're going to be able to start being able to layer heat maps with more traditional types of outputs to, once again, make a more effective analysis of that specific territory based on the insight that you're looking for. Obviously, you're going to be able to benefit from different types of tools or different selection tools for those of you who are familiar with this. Give you the ability to do free-form selections, point-and-click selections. We call it an isodistance selection, where you can basically select all the points on a map based on a specific distance. So I'll showcase a quick example of what that looks like. And you're also going to have drive time, which is going to be very similar to isodistance. Instead of doing a distance, it's going to be doing a selection based on time itself. You can see your selection. You can come in. You can select specific points on a map. You see that highlight being selected. And you're also going to have different statistical functions on the map that are created on the fly. This data doesn't necessarily exist. We're calculating this, and we're giving you new sets of data as well too. So for web intelligence, one final area that I do like to bring up as well too is motion maps. I'm not going to go through an example necessarily here, but users are going to have the ability to basically pick a layer that they want to see the territory evolve over a period of time. We're going to showcase this feature in Lumira and showcase exactly how you can accomplish it there as well too. It's a very similar process in both of these environments. The final thing I did want to showcase is what you can also do with some of this information. You do have the ability to come in and filter now information from these layers as well too. So a lot of new self-service type of functionality that you would typically find in a solution like Lumira are starting to be ported over into web intelligence as well too. So more from a graphical perspective, users can come in and they can start now picking and choosing new ways for them to ultimately filter information on a map itself. And you're going to have different ways for you to filter information. You can pretty much see that this is going to be able to showcase different objects as well as values that you can select from within the data set itself. Once you have that, you can click OK. You can see that your selection, there's only now one building that's left with an ID of 1, and it shows you what that filter may look like. Ultimately, for web intelligence, we're looking to continue to introduce some of these concepts of self-service, of ad hoc reporting, to align with where SAP is going with their products. We know that ad hoc and letting users ultimately extend what has been provided to them as a starting point is a big area of focus. And once again, with our extension, we're looking to replicate and draw parallels with that strategy through our solutions as well too. At this point, I think that I want to transition over to the Lumira extension itself. I do know that there's other functionality that Olivia spoke to, and we'll be illustrating some of those within the Lumira extension. Obviously, at Galigeo, what we look for is to deliver a consistent approach throughout the SAP BI stack that we support. So functionality that's introduced within Webby or Lumira or Design Studio typically is going to be available across the 3 extensions itself. And with that, we'll start exploring what these can look like now in the Lumira extension. Okay, we should now start to see something that looks like a story. For those of you who are familiar with the Lumira environment, it's going to differ a little bit from Webby in that Lumira is going to be focused more on self-service, on data discovery, and on creating different types of visualizations to support different types of analysis, both in territories as well as more traditional types of BI applications. What we're showing you right now is what an individual that created a report could have shared with that broader user community. This use case is ultimately showcasing work that we did with an organization that is looking to sell different types of healthy foods that are all prepared in a specific region. So obviously this is a big trend across the world. There's different types of services out there, different types of ways that you can now order directly, meals at lunch, meal at dinner. And these organizations are looking to get better insight to the types of food that they're ordering from, where these orders are coming, and how they can see the population, the frequency, the types of orders, the size of the orders in a specific territory on a map itself. So obviously there's going to be different ways that we can represent this. Starting out, we're introducing here a specific heat map, and we can see how these orders are going to evolve over a specific period of time through this notion of motion map or time slider that Olivia spoke to earlier on in the slides. So here we have not only location data, but we also have time data. And we're able to incorporate these different dimensions all in one consolidated output, so you can start getting a better sense and seeing, is there certain types of things in certain dates or periods that are influencing why we're seeing larger demands or larger orders in some of these regions. Obviously, you can pause the time slider, you can play it, you can filter information on the map at these specific dates, you can get to further analysis as need be as well too. We're going to have different pages in a story that are going to provide users these different types of insights as well too. What's nice about these pages is that you can incorporate our extension directly into the different types of panels. It can be one map, multiple maps, but more importantly, you can blend the traditional types of outputs that you created with Lumira with our mapping extension as well too. So as you can see, I'm clicking on the map. I'm able to see different types of information around our different territories. Directly, a user can drill down into a specific territory itself, and immediately we can start seeing how that's going to drive the behavior of the actual application, and that it's able to update the panels on the right-hand side to show how these prices, how these sales are impacted in this filter that we just drilled into as well. We have a similar type of experience here with the legend. You can see that there's different types of drill paths as well too. You can keep drilling. As long as you expose these different types of drill paths, you can go even to street level. On these different layers, you can see there's different types of visualizations as well. The solution is going to provide or recommend best fit visualizations based on what you're doing. Here, the pie charts that you're able to see on the map are going to break out the different types of orders that you're able to see at a specific location from a street level view on a map itself. We're going to showcase how you can customize some of these outputs, but once again, I just want to speak to high level, the story itself here, how you can socialize this to an executive team, to a broader audience that's looking for a high level view of these KPIs. You can obviously incorporate these different types of visual outputs, and most importantly, as you see me Xing out these filters, we can see that as we start filtering on certain visualizations, it's going to persist in the rest of the story itself to give you a more granular analysis of the specific territory that we're looking for insights around. We filtered from a map. Obviously, as you see me moving my cursor around, you can very easily filter as well too from the outputs that were created within the Lumira environment itself and update the content or the information that you're seeing on the map as well too. So how do we get here? How do we get to these outputs? We can see that there's a Prepare tab, a Visual tab, and a Compose tab. For those of you that are familiar with Lumira, the Visualize room is where you're going to create these outputs. You can see where my mouse is. This is our Galigeo extension. It gives you another option to the more traditional options that you're going to have within Lumira. And a very similar approach is going to be pretty much supported within our extension. You're dragging and dropping different dimensions, different measures, and the different fields to start seeing information populate in real time on the map itself. We're going to give you different types of visual outputs. You're seeing a heat map right now. You're seeing me drop different types of dimensions in this hierarchy as well too. And what we're illustrating is how you can very easily now, since you have date information, incorporate this new feature, which is a time slider. And very easily, it's as simple as just adding that date field, clicking a specific option on the map itself, and seeing that time slider immediately become enabled for users to use as well. You can do more though. You can keep some of these features live, you can keep some of them active, but you can start adding different measures to start being able to see or make sense of different types of information on the map. Here we added total price. We can see a lot of now bubbles that appeared on the map. some of them are larger than others. It's being driven by the size of the total price of a sale that's made at a specific location. So there is some type of visual analysis that we can do here. But when a map is very busy, you're going to have other ways that you can make this a little bit easier as well for users to then come in and analyze this information. I just added another field in my geodimension. So you can start seeing how this is going to start impacting the way that we can see the information on the map. And the reason that is we're also creating a hierarchy in real time in that dimension. Here we're seeing more, instead of a specific point on a map, we're able to see these different areas or these different territories. And using that as a high-level starting point with a specific indicator of a total price, rather than using a specific geo-bubble that may make the map busy itself. We can then drill down into these different areas, which could be custom areas or could be a defined geopolitical boundary, to then get back to our street-level view that shows our orders on that specific street, as well as other types of metrics associated with that order in the pop-out. I want to also now speak to, you saw me creating this hierarchy on the fly. So users are going to have the flexibility to create hierarchies on the fly within Lumira itself. What's new with this release, and also what has been asked over and over again by our customers, is the ability to support hierarchies that they may have already created within SAP BI. And so that's exactly what you just saw me drop here. It's a sales hierarchy. It's going to give you the exact same flow as what we just created by adding in the individual dimensions, by starting with a custom territory to drilling into some of these more custom sales sectors, and ultimately drilling into more of this street-level view itself. Seeing the actual sales on the street, and then we can roll back up and so forth. So you can pretty much consume what you've already created or empower users to create a flow on the fly of how they want to be able to navigate through this information as well too. By adding in an additional dimension, in this case here it's product. So we were able to look at total price, we still have the hierarchy in place. Adding in this third area is going to let us now break out the sales by the actual products themselves in the different sectors, as well as in the different street level views. Pie charts have been something we've continually innovated. Vincent helped out with this new release and introducing this new way for you guys to also come in and have very granular control of the look and feel of the outputs on the map itself. We're going to showcase also what this means for ranges, but from a visualization perspective, you're very easily able to come in and tweak and change the colors, the way, the look and feel of these actual outputs from a user perspective. In a story itself, you can also provide users with a starting point, but they can also come in and they can change the colors as well as the ranges, as you're able to see me do here. So you can create your different class breaks on the fly. You may have had class breaks defined to you as a starting point, but you can come in, you can make these 2 class breaks, you can make them 4. You're going to have a lot of flexibility in how you want to basically slice and dice information based on the different classes on the map itself. Other than that, you can now see that by drilling in and drilling up, all of these changes persist. Everything that we've really tailored and customized from a user perspective is still available for the other user communities to consume as well too. Once we're able to get the outputs to look the way we want them to look, we're going to do a very similar approach here from the different selection tools. I didn't necessarily show too much of this within Webby, but obviously within Webby, within Lumira, within Design Studio, you're going to have different ways that you can come in. In this case here, we're showing you free form, how you can select information on a map to include or exclude in an analysis, as well as use that selection to drive the additional outputs or the additional information that you see on outputs to match that filter, to match that drill path that we just activated as well too. Obviously, we can add filters in various different ways. We're doing it more from a graphical perspective right now, but Lumira is also going to give you many ways that you can filter data as well from the actual prepare room or from this environment as well too. You can export these details to CSVs. You can pretty much manipulate the information. You can pretty much share this with other users as well too. All of these are native functions that you're going to have within Lumira. That's not necessarily something that's going to be native to our extension as well too here. Finally, I'll finish up here with showcasing the time slider one more time on the map itself, showcasing how you can see now these periods evolving over time. Again, this is something that's been asked relatively frequently by our customers and is now available within all 3 extensions as well. Final feature that I don't necessarily, that I wasn't planning on speaking to in today's call is something that's more related to GIS functionality. In Web Intelligence, a lot of our customers have been able to benefit over the past, I guess, 4 or 5 months from the ability to bring in custom base maps. For Lemire and for Design Studio as well, you are going to have the ability to bring in these custom base maps, whether it's something that's unique to your specific organization, or whether you're using other GIS tools, like let's give Esri, for example, where you've defined different custom types of shapes and base maps to be able to consume that existing environment directly within SAP BI as a starting point through our extension as well. As Vincent and Olivia mentioned earlier on in the call, a lot of these functionalities are also going to be available within Design Studio as well. We're not necessarily going to walk you guys through examples within Design Studio, but obviously to follow up this webinar, to follow up this quick update, we are more than happy to give you guys some of the latest and greatest licenses so we can also showcase examples in these other environments. From a visual perspective, I think in demo perspective, we've spoken to the majority of the features that we wanted to highlight based on some of the big points in the new release that we have today. Olivia, I'll pass the floor back up to you to wrap up and help answer any final questions that may have come up during the call as well.
Yes. Sorry. Thank you very much. So we had a lot of questions directly into our chat, so I guess that we have answered all of the questions. I have one final question that I want to make it public here because I guess that it will benefit to everyone. This is, how do we get this new version of our product? So you can directly contact us. I have put our 2 contacts here, mine and Philip's one. You might be already in contact with one of us, so please just contact us directly by email, and we will send you a direct download link and also a release note, so you will be able to have the list of these new capabilities of the product, and also the product documentation that is up to date, of course. So you can go through all of these new features and take benefit of this new release. I guess that's we're done for today. Right, guys, do you have any question on your side? Because I have answered, I guess, all the questions during the webinar.
No, like we just said, we appreciate everyone joining us today. We do have some exciting new releases out there, and we're more than happy to help get our existing customers as well as any net new prospects started with our extensions. Feel free to contact us, and we appreciate all of your time as well.
Thank you very much, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.